Hello, everybody. Hello, fellow kids. It's me, someone in their late 30s, who's doing a stream this week on the live TV ratings talk. I'm Brandon Thurston, and I did manage to try to start the stream on Twitch today, but here I am. I think I'm on YouTube now, and we're here to talk about the TV ratings, that including the ones that we just learned about for AEW Dynamite. You can put your questions in the chat if you prefer to fight with people in the chat about whether or not AEW is going out of business. Feel free to do that as well. AEW is number one on cable. AEW is dead. AEW did 1 million viewers again this week. They did 1 million viewers last week. It was the third most highly viewed AEW Dynamite in total last week. It was the second most viewed. That would be this one in 1849. This week though, 1,047,000 viewers in total, down from last week over 1.1 million. 486,000 viewers in 18 to 49. That is down from last week 620. And I know everybody wants to hear the demo rating. Nobody wants to hear the demo viewers. A 0.38 in the demo. Down an entire, tenth of a point from the 0.48. If we go to our handy analysis tab in the Wrestlenomics viewership spreadsheet that you can get access to at patreon.com/Wrestlenomics, it will tell us that the total viewership was down 11% from last week, down 22% in the key demo. However, we are comparing one of the all-time most watched episodes of Dynamite in that comparison. If we scroll over here to the most recent episode against the median of the last 4 weeks, I'm just using median of the last 4 weeks as a stand-in for what's this show been doing lately. And what we see is total viewership a plus 1%, pretty normal. 1849 though, down 7%. So a little bit below what it's normally been doing. We're sort of in this time for AEW where they're doing a lot of big ratings. So that's what's within these last 4 weeks here, and we don't know where it's really going to settle yet. How much of a sustained increase to viewership does the addition of CM Punk mean? What's going to happen if or when Bryan Danielson comes to AEW? Does that help any kind of additional sustained increase to ratings? I don't have a great idea yet, but this is in line with what Dynamite had been doing recently. If we go to the line chart, this is total viewership, P2+. This is in the neighborhood, very much within the neighborhood of what AEW has been doing within these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots here. This is the 7th dot, yesterday's rating. If we look at 18 to 49, on the lower end of what it's been doing lately. We had some pretty good ratings back here that this episode did not come that close to. And if we look at that in terms of actual numbers, if we go back to our program data tab here in the big spreadsheet, and we're focusing on this column here, 18 to 49, the demo that sells the ads. This is the Punk episode, or I should say the first Dynamite with Punk. The first Punk AEW episode period, of course, was Rampage. But if we're looking at 620, the first episode with Punk on it, 447. Again, this episode doing 486, so higher than that episode, higher than the week before Punk. 454. That's still lower than what it had been doing in the weeks leading up to Punk. These are the two sub-million viewer episodes in the 2 weeks before CM Punk came to AEW. But here, these weeks, I think this is the 4 weeks after all the preemptions. Or actually, no, there's 2 weeks of non-preemption, right? And then there's these 4 weeks where it does 1 million viewers. Hopefully this isn't flying through your screen too fast, but where they do 1 million viewers and they do over 500,000. About half of AEW's audience is in the demo. I hope I'm not clipping out here as my red meter goes to max here. Yell at me in the chat and critique the production values, and it'll help me figure out what's working and what's not. But you can see the over 500,000 in the key demo and over 1 million in these weeks. So this was not an episode. Again, let's look at those numbers again. This last night number. This is not a number on the level of those in those 4 weeks there. That's probably July and early August. Well, yes, it's 1 week of August. So this is on maybe the medium-low range of what Dynamite has been doing lately. And this did have CM Punk on the episode, doing an angle with 2.0, Daniel Garcia, and Darby Allin and Sting on the show I think it was the second quarter. No quarter hours yet. Maybe I'll get them later. I will put them on Patreon and on Twitter. So that's Dynamite. Is there more to say about Dynamite? We could look at how does it compare to the WWE shows, or how does Dynamite compare to the latest Rampage? This is not within the same week. This is the most recent episode. So today is Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. We're talking about Wednesday's Dynamite. We're talking about Monday's Raw, and we're talking about the most recent Smackdown and Rampage. Unfortunately, we can't look into the future and look at everything within the same week. But we can see Raw and SmackDown doing ahead of every demo against Dynamite. The closest, what are the thinnest margins here? Male viewers 35 to 49, only a 10% lead for Raw. That looks to be the smallest margin. But Rampage doing higher viewership than the 1 hour, Dynamite doing higher viewership than Rampage in just about every demo. A 1% lead with female viewers 18 to 49. This episode was, and you can see a bigger margin for Rampage with women 35 to 49. This episode was down substantially if you look at my favorite median comparison. If there's something to account for why was this Dynamite, I think a good rating, ranked number 1 in the demo on cable, among cable originals, edged out Real Housewives. But we can see where were the losses the strongest. Well, the losses were the strongest with female viewers, with women 18 to 49. And male viewership basically even. Men 18 to 49, basically no change versus the median of the last 4. So women apparently checking out the show in weeks prior, but not last night so much. I also did, I think it's right here, I decided to throw this chart together that we will look at here. And I've not really looked at it that long, but just to get an idea of what's the demographic makeup of any of these shows. We don't have all the same data for all the shows, but we do have all the same data for Raw, Dynamite, NXT, and Rampage, and we have almost the same data for the others. This P2 to 17, I should say first, is an estimate based on the numbers that we have from everything else. There's an asterisk by this P50 plus because it's a rating, which I get from Showbiz Daily, which I don't get. And then I've used the universe. I've multiplied the rating by the universe, and I've made an estimate within a fairly small range what the viewer count must have been. So what we can see here, and I didn't quite have time to break this down to percentages. This is just everybody is standardized here. Let's make this just a little bit smaller so we can get everything on the screen. So I'm going to stretch this out too. I don't know if that helps, but anyway. So we can see obviously the purple here is P50 plus. That makes up the largest portion of the NXT audience. That's what stands out here. Rampage, the male 35 to 49, the older half of the key demo with men, that's a really big portion of the most recent. These are all the most recent episodes that we're looking at here. That makes up a really big portion of the Rampage audience. Are there other things that stand out? It looks like maybe kids. This is all within a margin of error for my estimate here. But a larger portion of kids watching Raw versus the others here. We have no idea what SmackDown does. Maybe SmackDown does well in that area too. But we just don't have P50 plus data for SmackDown because it's a broadcast program on Fox, and Showbiz only gives the more detailed breakdown for cable shows. So all we have for SmackDown and for Impact in that regard is this swath of gray, non-key demo viewership, which makes up a large portion of both of these programs. So that's what really stands out. I guess, male viewership, 35 to 49 in the dark green here, makes up a lot of Dynamite. Too, it makes up a lesser portion of Raw and of NXT. Now, female viewership, which is the blue, the 18 to 34 female viewership is the brighter blue, and the darker blue is the 35 to 49 female viewership. And I should really get percentages. I would expect that the female viewership for the W programs is a little bit stronger. And if we look at the breakdown across 18 to 49, which there's a column for that in the big spreadsheet, which is right here. It was a 25 to 75 split according to the key demo figures. And we are referencing the actual counts here, right? Not the rating, so it's even more precise. Yes, we are. Okay. So only 25% of the key demo was female last night, or were women last night, as opposed to 60-40 for the most recent Raw, 63-37 for the most recent NXT. 72 to 28% women for Rampage, 61% to 39% for Smackdown. So suffice to say, W programs, at least lately, does that change if we go further back in time? And I think I even have a tab for this. If we look at this tab right here, where I've got some pivot tables, we go all the way back into the earliest days of the spreadsheet, encoding overloaded. Hopefully I've not broken the stream. But here we can see, we've only got one data point here for Dynamite, but 25, 75, 30%. So it's usually in the low 30s, you might say. Compare that to Impact, which is even more made up of men in the key demo than women. And in NXT, it's pretty comparable, I guess. NXT compared to Dynamite is pretty comparable, although there were in these earlier days reaching the 40% portion. But 36% is 64 for the last 2 months for Raw. As much as, consistently over 40% women for SmackDown. So there's that. Median age, we'll take a quick look. I don't even know, but I didn't plan any of this. We'll look at median age real quick. I did tweet this the other day with the reported news. Bruce Pritchard gaining some influence in the production of NXT. I don't know if this is that readable on the screen, but maybe if I make it a little bit bigger here. Live spreadsheets on the air here. You are watching someone go through an Excel spreadsheet live on YouTube. What decisions in your life led to this? So, I don't know. Let's go 24 points. Maybe that's a little bit more readable. As you can see distinctly, I know Impact is all over the place. It's a volatile sample because it's a smaller audience. But you can see the gray for Dynamite, the orange for Rampage, consistently younger in median age than the WWE programs, which are, of course, NXT in gold, SmackDown in blue, Raw in red, consistently somewhere in the 50s for a median viewer age. So there's those things. Here's a line chart of what the key demo viewership is looking like lately. I think we just discussed that. If we look at the younger half of 18 to 49, which is 18 to 34, pretty normal number for Dynamite. This third episode of Rampage was way down from what it had been doing prior, even though it was up in the key demo right here. It was up from the debut. Obviously, this is the CM Punk episode way up here. But, yeah, there's 18 to 34. So Raw and SmackDown still solidly in the lead above any other wrestling program in the younger half of the key demo. This is a year-over-year comparison in total viewership for Dynamite with the bright green line floating well above the light blue line from last year. This is just all the weeks of the year numbered, laid on top of each other for this year and the prior 2 years. the story is AEW is doing better in total viewership than it was doing last year, and in the key demo. Largely, that's going to be driven by the absence of NXT as a head-to-head competitor on the same night. NXT, meanwhile, still doing below what they had been doing last year, despite not going against AEW, but being on a different night now, Tuesday, as opposed to Wednesday. I don't know that Tuesday is a worse night by that much versus Wednesday, but NXT not doing as well as it was doing last year against AEW. That was total viewership. This is the key demo. It's a pretty similar trend. And Raw doing better than it was doing last year, even against the headwind of the decline of the linear TV cable bundle. Raw is doing better with the return to fans now than it was doing here now in the last 2 weeks. Now we're looking at year-over-year comparisons against the Thunderdome era. These prior 5 or 6 weeks are being compared against the very end of the Performance Center era, where television viewership declines in the Performance Center era were especially strong. That's total viewership. Key demo a little bit below where it was last year. The debut of the Thunderdome, which I believe is also a post-SummerSlam episode. This spike right here, the most recent post-SummerSlam episode. Raw doing pretty well in the key demo, but not quite beating the key demo of last year, like it is in total viewership, or total viewership doing a little bit better. So outside the demo, they're doing better than they are inside the demo, but holding up decently and definitely exceeding my cynical expectations that I set early in July and probably before that, saying that the ratings are going to spike for a few weeks and then it'll settle down. It has not settled down as much as I would have expected. There does seem to be a sustained improvement for ratings for Raw and for Smackdown. Raw will have to go against Monday Night Football pretty soon, and it'll take a hit because of that. But for now, Raw ratings doing pretty well. Smackdown, this is total viewership, doing the most recent episode doing solidly better than SmackDown was doing last year. This is a post SummerSlam episode, coming off of the buzz of the return of Becky Lynch. And he didn't appear on the show, but Brock Lesnar too. So there's that. Key demo, if you look back here at the first several weeks after the return to touring, doing a solid margin above where the PC era was doing for SmackDown. So for some reason, the way these weeks lay out, we're not yet looking at a Thunderdome comp for SmackDown. We are still looking at a Performance Center comp. We will look at the most watched telecasts of the day, and we will go to the merged template and look at this, the daily breakdown. AEW ranked number 1 among cable originals in 18 to 49 with a 0.37. They're reporting 0.37. If I divide the number of actual viewers for 18 to 49 by the universe, which is 1294, I get 0.38. I imagine that this is being ranked by a more precise number than just 2 decimal places. Nonetheless, Showbiz Daily, this is a chart that I extract from Showbiz Daily. Showbiz Daily has its own chart, but they do rank AEW above Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Tucker Carlson. AEW did not beat any of these programs, these 6 programs in the key demo, including Big Brother, which won the night by a wide margin. As we'll see tonight who gets evicted. I expect the cookout will prevail. And the weekly template, so this is not a Sunday to Saturday view of the week, but this is the last 7 days. So Thursday, August 26th through yesterday, the most watched shows on all of TV, the best I can tell. We're not including things like reruns, which, by the way, this chart neither includes reruns. Showbiz Daily publishes the cable originals for the day, so it wouldn't include reruns of things like The Big Bang Theory and Family Guy and South Park and SpongeBob and Friends that do quite well, despite being reruns. But so this is the same thing, but just over the last 7 days. The 9th most watched program in the key demo within the last 7 days is WWE Smackdown. And just a couple slots below that, this is averaged together, those 3 slots that are WWE Entertainment, which, of course, are Raw. The 11th most watched telecast of the last 7 days. Of course, we got Big Brother up here with the top 2 slots, and some other broadcast programs below that, and the 5 on Fox News above that. So, and we have to scroll down to 24 to find last night's AEW Dynamite. And we have to scroll, there's Rampage at 35 with its 0.34 in the demo. And then we have to scroll all the way to 166 to find NXT among the other programs with a 0.17 in the demo. So I will go through any questions you might have. Feel free to put them in the chat. Supposedly there is no clipping. Let's see here. Are there arguments in the chat about what's a good rating and what's not? Is this their highest rated go home ever? I don't know. We might be able to look that up. This might break the stream though, because I would have to sort. By AEW Dynamite, which seems to be really demanding on the spreadsheet. We will try. You will probably still be able to hear me if the stream breaks. We'll see. This usually takes about a half a minute to sort. My PC is right here to my left in shambles. I've bought all the parts for a personal computer. I assembled all the parts. I press the power button and nothing happens. I have to take it to a real PC shop to see why it won't turn on. But hopefully once I get that going, this will not be so taxing on the computer. So let's see what we've got here. This is every episode of Dynamite, and you're asking about go-home shows. So there aren't that many pay-per-views yet in AEW history. So there's this one. This is a preemption for Dynamite on the go home to Double or Nothing. So not a great comparison there. There's Revolution. The go home to Revolution, which did 934 and 425, lower than either demo. If we scroll up, we got Full Gear, which is also okay. We're by the way, just in case there's any confusion, this is the post PPV identification column. So the week before would be the go home. 713 to 383 again. That's substantially lower. And now we're getting into the Wednesday Night War era, where Dynamite's not going to be doing as well. September 2nd, I think that's also a preemption, isn't it? No, it's not. It's a Wednesday. 928 to 469, and not quite what this one did. Double or Nothing. Again, we're solidly in the Wednesday Night War era here, which is at a disadvantage. Yeah, 737. And Revolution of 2020. 394 and 865. So again, that is, I don't have these numbers drilled into my head yet. Yeah, that is below what this one did. If we scroll up to Full Gear 2019, maybe in the very early run, 450 and 822. Not quite what this one did. And then before that, there is no TV. So I guess the answer is yes. At least in terms of total viewership and the key demo, this was the most watched go home Dynamite. Let's see. I am now scrolling for other questions. Yes, I see there are comments like, if AEW is so good, they shouldn't be losing viewers right now. They should be hot. They're definitely coming off of a peak from last week with CM Punk. I'm looking for question marks. What was SmackDown's overall viewership on their Fox debut? It was massive. I'm going to have to unsort the spreadsheet. It was... Oh, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. Okay. It was, let's see, October 2019 is the debut of SmackDown on Fox. And it's probably... it's 3 points, you can round it to 3.9 million viewers and almost 1.8 million in the demo. I don't know if that's make that bigger. 3.888 million viewers total, 1.785 million just in the demo. To put that in some context, this is bigger than the most watched total viewership that Dynamite has ever done, which is like 1.4 million, which is actually right here, which was just 2 days before that. So that was a huge number. It's probably the most watched wrestling program of any kind, certainly since this day, and probably well before. You can scroll quite a ways back here and see that blows away anything that Raw or SmackDown had done at any time recent to that. So definitely well over 3 million, getting near 4 million. Okay, I guess that was part of an argument that someone was having. That's what I do. I am here to be the person who brings facts to your very important arguments with strangers on the internet. Is this their highest rated Dynamite? Okay, we answered that. Have I missed you coming up with excuses for Dynamite yet? Well, there's a 24-hour gas station that I heard was open, that just opened, and that might have affected viewership. The challenge is not so much, by that I mean the MTV challenge is not so much of an excuse lately. It's been not doing that great as far as, let's see, where the challenge, which was kind of a convenient excuse for why ratings were off and down, especially with female viewership, doing just a 0.30 in the demo, but doing a 0.34 in women 18 to 49. If we in fact sort, as I go on the side here and look at, we can actually go in here and look at, if we can sort demos to say, well, what was the most watched show on TV with male viewers, which we'll only be asking about cable, I guess, because we don't have this data for broadcast. But we could ask this about men 18 to 49. It was by far AEW beating college football between UAB and Jacksonville State on ESPN by a pretty wide margin. If we look at female viewers, women 18 to 49, then we've got Real Housewives taking the lead. Married at First Sight on Lifetime, one of my favorite series. Challenge, Tucker Carlson, and Hannity. Women like Fox News too. How about the younger half of the key demo, People? That's now we're including broadcast again, and it's mostly and Challenge actually leads in the younger half of the key demo. So there's that. If we look at total viewership, can we look at total viewership here? Yes, we can. Oh, I see what's happened here. My column has gotten distorted by crediting Showbiz Daily. So if we look at what's leading in total viewership, it's a way different picture, right? America's Got Talent is by far number one, so it's not Big Brother on top. Big Brother is number two. America's Got Talent watched by 6.2 million people last night on NBC, running head-to-head with Big Brother. Tucker Carlson comes in at number 3 on cable. And we have to, how far do we have to scroll before we find, I should have not included this column in my sort, but we could count, right? We can do a count here by selecting all these cells. It's the 41st watched show on all of TV last night, despite being number 1 in cable. And we could have a discussion about what the difference in value is between total viewership and 18 to 49. To give a really abbreviated version of that, nobody buys ads for total viewership. Everyone buys ads for 18 to 49 or one of these demos. People buy ads for P50 plus 2, but it's thought to not be as valuable of a demo as 18 to 49. But every one of these homes, or every one of these viewers, represents customers in a home that are paying a cable bill. And cable bills, while advertising revenue is a big piece of the cable in the TV industry in general, cable bills are really the majority of the at least the cable TV industry. Are there any more questions? Let's see here. I think if I have answered all the questions, I think that is it. How long have we been going for here? 31 minutes. I'm okay with that. Did we answer the poll question? How do I look at the poll question? What did people predict? By the way, I put a poll question which has gotten 26 votes. What is your prediction for the pay-per-view buys for All Out 2021? The leading candidate is 150 to 170. That would be a record. I mean, I strongly expect the pay-per-view to do record buys this Sunday for AEW. We'll see what numbers get reported. I will try to get a number. So I think that's going to be it for now. I will talk to everyone again. We will be doing a recording of Wrestlenomics Radio, a traditional style podcast, on your podcast app. You can listen to Wrestlenomics Radio by searching your podcast app for Wrestlenomics. You can go to Wrestlenomics.com/podcast. You can go to Wrestlenomics.com in general to read some things and to see some resources, to see some stats, including the pay-per-view buys for every AEW pay-per-view up to this point. You can go to Patreon.com/Wrestlenomics, and for just $5 a month, you can get access to this big spreadsheet that we've been going through. You can get access to all of my every weekday, just about, TV ratings reports. You can follow me on Twitter at Wrestlenomics and at Brandon Thurston. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.